Welcome back to Talents for Wealth, where we talk about your money from a Christian perspective. I'm your host, Scott Curry, and today I have some very special guests with me. But first, I want to talk about this being the end of the year and how you can save some money on your taxes, including donating to your favorite charities. I would like to introduce John and Beth. John is an author. He wrote a book called It's Not About the Sex. And Beth has a home for sex trafficking survivors called Haven for Hope. John and Beth, welcome to the show. How are you guys?
Good, thank you.
Great. Thanks for having us on the show.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining. John, I'd really like to start with you since you have a lot of information and data on sex trafficking and how it affects people. John, if you could just tell us a little bit about the world of sex trafficking, how this might affect people, especially families, and why people should care.
Sure. So, with human trafficking, it's a surprise when it happens kind of in your backyard. And Scott, you're a numbers guy, so I wanted to give you a couple of stats there. And the average age that a child is lured into this situation and exploited is about 12 or 13 years old. And according to the FBI, they estimate that there's about 300,000 children trafficked in this country. And globally, that number is as high as 5 million. From a dollar
Mm.
perspective, it's the number two crime in the world after drugs. Now, what's worse about this, of course, is that we're talking about people that are being exploited day after day, multiple times a day. It's not something that you're just, growing somewhere or creating in a lab. We're talking about human beings here.
Wow, I had no idea that sex trafficking was that large, number two in the world, right behind the drug trade. How do people get into sex trafficking? Is this something where it's kind of voluntary, or is it something that could happen to anybody? I mean, as a parent, should I be worried about this?
Well, yeah, it's definitely not something that's voluntary. It's a high percent of kidnapping, and actually that's about 5%, and that surprises a lot of people. So it's not the person on the corner getting snatched up by a van. It's usually someone recruited with someone you know, and it could be a family member, a neighbor, a coach, someone at school, etc. The other surprising thing, stat wise, is that 45% of those being exploited are boys. And I think a lot of people are surprised to hear about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I had no idea about that. So if this is happening and you said schools and coaches and teachers are actually recruiting these kids, how can we best protect our kids from being recruited?
What you really want to do is as a parent, you're going to want to be watching for any kind of red flags. The recruiting can happen in two ways. It can happen through an online type of friendship, and a lot of predators are absolutely using the internet to try to find people, lure people. One of the signs of somebody being trafficked, for example, is a second cell phone, or where somebody has unexplained gifts, new jewelry, new clothes, that kind of thing. As a parent, it may not be your kid, but it could be someone that's on your kid's soccer team or that quiet kid in the back of the class. If you see those kinds of grooming signs, that's when to start. You should ask questions.
Just say the worst case scenario were to occur and one of our kids or somebody in our neighborhood fell victim to this crime and the police did act and they were able to rescue that person. What happens after that? How do these people recover? Because it seems like it's kind of traumatic.
Yeah, it's absolutely a traumatic experience, and they're going to need help to walk through whatever that future holds for them. But a lot of organizations, a lot of nonprofits can help people in that situation, whether it's initially getting them some counseling, they're older, getting them transitional housing. Because you can imagine if you've been in that situation, it's pretty hard to get your life back together without some help.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. And Beth, Haven for Hope is actually your nonprofit that you're starting. Tell us a little bit about Haven for Hope and what you're hoping to do with this.
Thank you. Yeah, Haven for Hope is going to be a home for women that were trafficked over 18. Anybody under 18 goes into the foster care system and is
Mm.
supported that way. But over 18, there's nothing for them really. And so that's why a lot of nonprofits are trying to come around these ladies to help them. There's ones for men, but we're just going to be focusing on women over the age of 18. So once they have been recovered from their trafficker. They're stabilized because most are addicted to drugs and alcohol, so they can see they're going
Mm.
through. Once they're stabilized, they'll come to the home, and then they will be able to recover there for 2 years. We're going to do it no cost, totally free.
Oh, wow.
Housing and food and clothing will help provide counseling and classes like the 12-step classes to help them continue with their recovery and medical as
Hmm.
well, though there's lots of medical. We hope to be able to have them learn a new trade, work locally in the area,
Mm.
and learn a new job so that they will be able to put money away in savings. And then as they transition out of the home, they'll have savings and a job training so that they can go on their own.
I know this was kind of a new dream, a new vision for you. Where do you stand right now on making this a reality?
So by the end of this year, and actually I think already we have exceeded 100,000 in our bank account, which is really exciting for us. But it truly is a drop in the bucket when it's going to take at least 150,000 a year to run the home. We think we'll have about 6 women in the home at a time, and so it'll cost that much per year. And I want that total amount in the bank account before I even open the doors, so I'm not leaving somebody hanging. I want to be able to run it for 2 years without having to worry about that. Um, and at this point, we're negotiating with some people that are talking about helping us build the home, and some people who are talking about giving us land to build the home on. So we're getting closer all the time, but we still need funds to be able to make it happen for sure. I want 300,000 in the bank before I open the doors, and then we need money to get the home in place as well.
Well, that's amazing that you've already had $100,000 in donations. Now you're looking for $300,000 total just to open the doors. But you also said you needed some additional funds to get started, to get the home built, furnished, and all that. What is the total amount that you are looking to raise?
If a home is not donated and we have to purchase and build on that land, we've budgeted that out. That's going to be about $400,000.
And that's $400,000 total that you need, or is that in addition to the 300,000 that you are looking to raise? Is it 300,000 or 400? Or what's the total dollar amount that you're looking to raise to make this a reality?
So it's in addition. So it would be 700,000.
Wow. So you're looking to raise 700,000. You've already got $100,000 in donations. So it sounds like you need about $600,000 more. You know, we have a lot of viewers who are extremely giving and they have an incredible heart for people, especially victims of these horrendous crimes. Tell us, Beth, if somebody did want to donate to help make this a reality, how can they go about doing that?
So we have a website you can check out. It's Haven for Hope CO, like Colorado.org. And there's a place to donate online there, and there's our address there as well. And if they have any questions, they can call me personally. The phone number is 719-395-6938. I'm happy to meet with anybody or talk with anybody that is interested about our organization.
Thank you for that information, Beth. Of course, we got all the information up on the screen for you. So if you're interested in donating to Haven for Hope and helping Beth realize this dream of helping out these sex trafficking survivors, these victims of this horrendous crime, and you want to reduce your taxable income before the end of the year, then I would encourage you to make a gift out to Haven for Hope. It is a nonprofit organization, so your gift will be tax deductible. And all of the information is on screen to either do more research and look into this a little bit further, or just go ahead and mail in a check. And of course, like Beth said, if you have any questions or want to talk to her, her phone number is up here on the screen as well. Thank you, both of you, so much for joining us today on the Talents of Wealth program. And Beth and John, I'll just leave it up to you for any final closing thoughts. Beth, let's start with you. Any final thoughts before we go?
I would like to say that I think it's something really important to help these people that have been through so much. It's just a miracle if they ever are recovered. 1% are recovered from trafficking. And if they
Oh.
survive that, I want to be there to help them recover the rest of the way and to have the rest of their lives to live.
Wow, I had no idea it was only 1%. But yeah, absolutely. If they are lucky enough to have survived and have been able to get out of that situation, we definitely want to help them. John, any final thoughts before we go?
Just to talk about my book a little bit, I do have survivor stories in there. And so you can get some sense of what that healing and recovery journey looks like. And I encourage people to check that out as well, to kind of get a sense of these real stories that these folks are experiencing.
And if you'd like to purchase John's book or even listen to it on audio, I do have the information on the screen of where you can find that book and read it or listen to it. It's an incredible book with some incredible resources to give you more information about this horrible crime that has swept the entire world. And really, it's considered modern day slavery. That's really what we're talking about here. So, encourage you guys to please read John's book, learn more about this. If you are so inclined and your heart is just reaching out for these poor victims of this crime, please consider donating to Beth's ministry, Haven for Hope. I thank you guys so much for joining us on this Talents and Wealth show. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And if you got a lot out of this, please share this video with your friends and family so that they will know about this and how they can help out as well. And I will see you all next time.